What's going on, guys? So I want to go ahead and start this off by saying excuse me for being all wrinkled, tired looking, and mangy. I gotta go get a shower. I fell asleep on my recliner last night, setting up some stuff and going back through some old games. And I have to say this. Now, I know it's been out for a while. Obviously, it's been out for a while. And I do have a PlayStation 5 already. But I had the Xbox S, and after the showcase with all the new Xbox titles coming out that they're going to be bringing, I thought it was time to upgrade and go ahead and get me the more powerful Xbox. And something else I thought was really cool, which PlayStation needs to catch up on because their Pro controller style stuff is nothing compared to this. This is the one that's got the paddles and all the magnetic removables, which I think is really cool. I haven't put the other any of the other attachments on it yet, which is just like a different style of analog stick, stuff like that. I haven't done that yet, but I think it's really cool that this is a thing. It feels very heavy for a controller. I'm not saying they're doing this, but I know there's a trade secret amongst like tech companies, and they'll put like actual weight inside of them, so it feels heavier, so you don't think it's cheap, and it works. A lot of people believe it. But this is my first like Xbox, like with a disc, all that. I've only owned this S. The S was my first purchase. I bought this because there's going to be games that, obviously you can emulate off the disc, and I would like to play old 360 games. So I'm trying to build up my 360 collection. That's something I've never had. I have one 360 game, and that's Fable 3. And I only bought it because a buddy of mine, my old roommate, had a 360, and I literally played that. But I have to say, this is something I'd also like to touch base on with Xbox. I've never owned one as a child, teenager, none of that. So my experience with Halo is very, very rare. I've played a little bit of the first one. I played multiplayer on the third one back in school when we had Halo parties at school, which we were allowed to do during the end of the year, especially if you're in band and we had nothing between practice. For non-band nerds, I'm going to explain a little bit more in detail. Band nerds, you're going to be able to keep up pretty easily. But basically, we had two seasons, which was marching band, which is when we played with football or Thanksgiving, stuff like that, parades and things and such, which that was usually when we did our two different marches and stuff. And then you had, which was your concert. That was like the two seasons we had. And in between, we had some times, like end of the year, or right at the end of the season, for like a week or two, we could just bring in consoles. And we brought in Magic cards and Halo. And the teachers would just go off and mind their own business. And we would have the whole hall to ourselves. And that was my first experience with like Halo 3. I think I played Halo 3 multiplayer or co-op with some dude that was a mutual friend of mine at somebody's house that I stayed at quite often. But that was, 15 years ago. That's going to be hard to remember exact details of that. But Halo 1, this is my kind of a full unique experience again because I'm playing it from the beginning to the end. And I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but also look at the technical aspect that this is an old game. This is not brand new. So to kind of look into it for the time, graphics are not that bad. The experience is super new. It's definitely different from like playing, Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a game I've played for years. I had it on GameCube back in the day. That's like one of my earliest connections to like the shooter genre, and I loved the Call of Duty stories. So I've played most of the Call of Duties up until this point. There was a time period where I didn't play them, but the new experience with Halo to me, especially playing Anniversary, which you can swap between the old look and the new look. And the old look, it doesn't look as good today, but it's still, speaking from the technical aspect, I can see why it was such a good game. It definitely does look like it was looking phenomenal back then, especially on some old hardware. You're talking about an Xbox, the original Xbox. I was about to say Xbox One. Ooh, I almost messed up. But the first Xbox, which was a pretty good technical marvel for its time too, to be honest. And for it to look as good as they kind of did back then, it's still great and it still plays okay. That's my only argument, is that the controls are just they feel stiff. I don't know why. I could probably change them, but it's not a big deal. It's not like it takes away from the experience. I'm just getting used to it. Especially the controls are way different than any other shooter I've played. There's no run button, stuff like that. But it's nothing to take away from the game. I'm just kind of, trying to enjoy the story, try to keep, attached at it, and try to focus on what exactly is going on. I think another thing that makes it really cool is the difference in power, because I got some of the Xbox actual optimized X and S games, and they definitely play a lot better and a lot higher. Like it just, I don't know, it just looks better to me. I don't know if maybe I'm just blinded by the fact that it is just a bigger game or console than the S, or maybe I'm wrong and I'm just stupid, but it feels like it just runs better on the X. Another game I finally got to pick up, because I do have all the Fables. I'll eventually play them, and I think all the Gears of War. But something I want to play is Dead Rising 3. Never played it. I never had an Xbox, and being that the S does not have a disc tray, I'm not going to pay like the online prices. Some of those games are still $40. I'm not paying that. It just seems too, high for a game that is like 10 years old at this point. So I was like, you know what, I'm wait, and I'll go ahead and buy it when I ever get an Xbox, and I'll just go ahead and play it on my new one. So once I finally get this one, it's got a disc tray, and I just have to be at GameStop. Was the only person in town. I don't support GameStop usually because their trade-in offers are absolute ass. But I went through Walmart, Best Buy, another Walmart, and everybody was sold out. And it was the one time I went to, I had the money to go get an Xbox, because I've been saving up for two things, which was an Xbox and a hunting shotgun, which I was going to get today. Now, the thing about it is I had to go all through town, and I finally had to go back into town. By the way, 100 degrees outside. My air don't work in my truck, and I'm already had a long day at work. I literally got off work at like 3 o'clock, and I didn't get home till 7. And then here's what made it worse. Sorry, I did get home. I actually had to go buy another power strip because my power strip went out. It just blew. Don't know why. Nothing else in the house is messed up. There's 2 power strips next to it. Our surge protector. The second thing is the remote to the TV broke. Just stopped working. So I had to go get a universal remote just to be able to hook up the Xbox. That was quite a dilemma yesterday. But I got all that fixed up and finally got to sit down and play it. And I think I was just too tired. So I fell asleep. I literally fell asleep on my recliner. But today I get to go find me hopefully come back with a hunting shotgun, which is going to be, that's going to be for duck hunting and turkey this year, because I still got more stuff to buy. But right now, the money I have saved up, I can only get this far. But yeah, that's been my experience now, having Xbox. I think it was cool. It was definitely a dilemma yesterday getting set up just to play the damn thing. But so far, I still got a hard drive that I used to have on my PS4 that I put on my Xbox S. And then the same thing where I just took it off the S one and just put it back on the new Xbox. But I gotta say, Microsoft, it's not a bad console. I like it. And so far, being able to play some old 20-year-old games, yeah, it's going to be a whole new experience for me. So I get to catch up on some things that all you Xbox players have been enjoying for almost 2 decades now. So yeah, I get to catch up. Bear with me. At some point, I'll probably maybe talk about it, review it. I say review it, but I'll just kind of give my input on it. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.